everyone, welcome to Simplicity TV and to the Simplicity Kitchen. I am back in here today sharing new recipe ideas and inspirations with you. So I'm whipping up a recipe today. It's my Chocolate Chia Oat Bombs. They are from my second book, which was my first cookbook, The Simplicity Kitchen, which you can get on my website, jennpike.com. Now, the reason I love this recipe so much is that I can send these to school for my kids. It does ask for a nut butter, but you can replace it with a seed butter, which is what I've done in the recipe today. They are quick and they are easy, and I'm going to show you how quick and easy as we start to pull this in. Now, I've already preheated the oven behind me at 350 degrees, and then the other thing I did is I took my coconut oil, put it on some paper towel, so I just dunked paper towel into the coconut oil, and then I put it into the muffin tin. I personally prefer that instead of using the actual muffin little liners. Personal preference, totally up to you. I also find when you use enough coconut oil in the pan, the cleanup is really easy as well. So here's what we've got. We've got 2 cups of organic oats that are in the large bowl. And then from here, I took 5 tablespoons of chia seeds that I've actually soaked. You can soak them honestly anywhere from a couple of minutes up to about 20 to 30 minutes. I wouldn't go any longer than that because then they're going to congeal. And so I'm going to put the chia into the oats and get those in here. These are really high in calcium and magnesium and protein and fat and fiber. So these are fantastic for breakfast in the morning on the go, and your kids are gonna love that because they're chocolate. You're gonna love it because you know that it's not something that's gonna jack their blood sugar up. The other thing that's great is that you can freeze these and then pull them out as you need them. So we've got our oats and our chia. Then I've got 2 tablespoons of organic cocoa powder. I'm gonna add that in there. And then I've got a 1/2 cup of sun butter, okay? So you could use almond butter, you could use natural peanut butter, any of those things, but I want to make life easy for myself, sending my kids to school with healthy snacks. And so I am doing it with sunflower seed butter. Now, for those of you ladies that follow me and you're doing your seed cycling, this is also a great opportunity to add in these into the second half of your menstrual cycle or the second half of the lunar cycle, because the sunflower that's in there to help support your progesterone. Then we're gonna do 1 cup of full fat coconut milk. I love Chia's Organic. They are my favorite. And coconut milk is something that I always have on hand. I'm gonna get a clean spoon because I use it to make up a lot of quick and easy dessert recipes. I'll also do it to add some extra healthy fat into smoothies and things like that that we're doing. So we're gonna add this in here. So when you do your coconut milk, you're gonna have your solid liquid part, and then you're gonna have the creamier part. And so you wanna get all the creamy part out of this first. And then what you're going to do is you're gonna take the cup measurement over top of your bowl and you're gonna pour the rest of it over top. So this is gonna act as our liquid, and then we're gonna put all of this into the bowl together. And then the rest of that I'll put into a small mason jar and I'll put that in the fridge for later use. And then from here, we're going to add in 4 tablespoons of raw honey. This is actually honey from friends of ours from their property. When you can get local honey, that is the healthiest honey for your body because that means those bees are right around where you live. So we're gonna do 4 tablespoons of honey. This is going to act as our natural sweetener. Now, because we're using that delicious full-fat coconut milk, you're also going to get some natural sweetness for that as well. And I'll tell you, I've eaten a lot of honey in my life. There is nothing like local honey. It is so delicious. Okay, so we've got that in. And it's amazing too because it's rich in your B vitamins, it's antiviral, it's antibacterial, so many healthy properties to that. Okay, from here we're gonna add in about a 1/4 cup of dark chocolate chips. I'm not gonna use a measurement from that. Okay, then I'm gonna add in about a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm not gonna measure this, okay? We can all eyeball what a teaspoon is here. There we go. And then typically I would add in cinnamon into this, and I would do some sea salt into this, but the kids actually like it without the cinnamon. So I'm not gonna add that in, and I'm not gonna put the salt in today either. I'm just gonna actually take what I've got here. I'm gonna start to mix it all in. And that's really the type of person that I am in the kitchen, is I use a recipe as my guideline, and then I just get creative. Sometimes I would put something like nutmeg or cardamom in instead of the cinnamon. You know, you can really kind of do whatever you want. There's times when I've made this where I've added in collagen into it, I've added in protein powder. And so we're just mixing it through. And then what I will tell you when you're doing this, you gotta make sure that your oats are fully coated. So you can see that we've got this chocolate that is getting into everything. I also wanna make sure that all of the coconut chunks are broken down. So there's a pretty hefty guy in here. I'm gonna use my metal spoon here to get in and break it up. And then when we're actually scooping this, we want to make sure, I would actually suggest that you use an ice cream scoop when you're doing this. And then that way, this is a bicep workout, holy moly. Getting my sweat on. This is like your 2-for-1. This is your exercise and you're cooking. And now I'm gonna tell you something else as well. You get these little pockets of not just the coconut, but you get the chia. You gotta spread that throughout. We wanna make sure that each muffin that we're creating gets ample ingredient. Okay, so that is good where that is at. We're gonna move this stuff out of the way, move the recipe out. And now I've got my oiled tins. Like I said, I've already preheated that oven behind me. And so I'm gonna start with 1 scoop into each. And then I always like less is more in the beginning. And then what I do, once I've made sure that I've got enough going into each one, I'll go back in and then just top up the ones that need, like they look like they need a little extra. Okay, so I try to stay as clean as possible when cooking in the kitchen. And so as opposed to trying to take, you know, a couple of spoons to do this, the ice cream scoop works great. And because it's not a runny type of dough consistency, it's really easy. The other thing I've done with these is, you know, the loaf pans, the mini loaf pans, I've made these into mini loaves. Those are great as well. And you can serve these warm, you can serve them room temperature, you can serve them cold. What I would say for your storage after is that you put them, you can have them on the counter for, I do no more than about 3 days on the counter, and then I transfer them into the fridge. They're also easy enough that you can batch them. Make a couple of batches, and then you can actually just pop one whole batch once they've cooled into your freezer. Okay, so now we're getting down to that end point where we want to get all the last little bits. And this is where we're going to do our top up. So this is where I'm going to bring in the help of an additional spoon to just get all of that in there. And see what guys need a little extra. Now with this, what you'll notice, because we're not using flour, oats don't rise to be like this massive, bountiful, you know, muffin top in your oven. So don't be one of those bakers that you're constantly turning the light on to look and see if they're rising to determine whether or not you've done a good job. You're not gonna see that when you're using oats. Just trust the process. Okay, I think we're almost at the end here. I'm gonna get all this last little bit. The other thing I love about this kind of cooking and not using eggs is that you can completely eat it off the spoon and not have to worry that you might get sick. Okay, so that is them all done. They're amazing, they're delicious. Now, you could, if you wanted to, put you know, extra chocolate chips. You could do shaved coconut on top of it. You could really do whatever it is that you want. I'm gonna leave them like this. I'm gonna pop them in the oven, 22 to 28 minutes. I tend to keep them in towards 28 minutes because I like them to be a little bit more dense. But if you like a chewier type of texture, then stick more towards that 22, 23 minutes. So let me pop these in. Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, so my chocolate chia oat bombs are out of the oven. They literally just slipped right out of those muffin tins, exactly like I knew they would because the amount of coconut oil that we put in there. And so I'm gonna take all of these and I am going to just kind of imperfectly place them onto my platter. I kept them in for 28 minutes. I let them cool for about 10. You could serve them just as they are. You could put a little bit of butter over them. You could drizzle some melted down chocolate chips if you wanted something really decadent. But there we go. How pretty, and oh my gosh, when you bite into these, you are going to feel stable. Your blood sugar is going to feel stable. You're going to feel satisfied. You're not going to feel like you could eat 2 and 3 and 4 of them. They really are going to hit the mark for you, for your kids, for your guests. This is a #1 winning success recipe that is out of this book right here. So here's your recipe in the bars, bites, and muffin section. This is from Simplicity Kitchen with my kiddos and my pup Charlie on the front, and we'll make sure to link it up and the recipe for you below. Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Wishing you more simplicity and more ease in all that you do.